First, this technology called AJAX, asynchronized JavaScript and XML. It is an old technology. It has been available for more than 20 years, but it is still very useful. It's a, programmers, web programmers' favorite, extremely powerful. So I like to introduce this simple technology. Actually, it's pretty simple technology through this class. So let me explain the main idea a little bit. This technology, the main part, so here, let me just write AJAX. So here I do not write the whole name, asynchronized JavaScript and XML. All right. So the main part of this technology is the JavaScript. And basically, we use a JavaScript function to do what? To do a special thing. Okay, So data exchange between client and the server. All right, so that's simple, okay? Data exchange. But this description is pretty general, right? But because from this description, you cannot see its biggest advantage. So its biggest advantage, let me write that. Or key property. Okay, key property. Exchanging data without page reloading. Page reloading. This part is important. Page reloading. Because we know page reloading not efficient. This kind of action not efficient. Why? Because if we do not use AJAX, before this technology was available 20-something years ago, so around 2000, that early, around 2000. Before it was available, every time when you need to change any part of the content of the page, you need to reload the whole page. So that's not efficient. Because think about if your page because sometimes our web page, we may have many components, right? Here and there, many pictures, so many different things we put on one page. We spend a lot of time, to display that whole page. Think about if you only need to modify one small piece of the page. Without AJAX, you need to reload the whole page. Only change a small piece of it. That's not efficient, right? Yeah. With AJAX, with this technology, then you do not reload the whole page. You only change this part. First, it is much faster. Second, you can reduce amount of work. Okay, you improve the user's experience. And especially, most important thing is the performance will be much faster. Yeah, performance, extremely fast. Yeah. All right. So here, the idea is very simple. So idea here, let me draw this client and the server. So this is a client side. This is the server side. All right, yeah. Client side, we have one page display, the current page, okay? Yeah. Current page. All right. Then we need to do communication between client and the server, okay? Yeah. All right. So the client, you need to send a request to the server. Send a request, yeah, through a JavaScript function, okay, through a JS function. All right, yeah. And the server side, it returns the result, okay, response. Okay, yeah. This kind of communication using a special object. Yeah, this object is important. Yeah. Yeah, we will see the object, XML, HTTP, that name. Yeah. Then after you receive the data, you need to update the page, right? Yeah. You need to update with new returned data. You need to update the page in a callback function. That's the whole procedure, okay? Using AJAX for communication, that's the whole procedure, okay? Yeah. So the implementation details, later I will go to the, give you the reference, W3 schools. I use, this popular website, school S, all right, schools.com, for beginners, simple tutorials for beginners. Yeah, so we will go there. So I show you some basic parts, yeah. And for this class, actually, I plan to implement this AJAX technology using another JavaScript technology called jQuery. Yeah. jQuery, another popular JavaScript package, yeah. Because currently our JavaScript, our regular or standard JavaScript, yeah. So we do a lot of things, in certain way, but jQuery mainly simplified regular JavaScript. Make a lot of things very simple. Yeah. So you can do more things but with less code. So jQuery is another powerful tool. Yeah. So here, using this example, so I try to use jQuery to implement this feature. So you can see that way. Yeah. I hope adding some experience, for you, I give you, plenty of examples, my code examples. I just make our project part another learning process for you. Yeah. Through these examples, you can get a little more experience. So you know what kind of basic things you need to do in a typical web application. Yeah. Next, before I go to the W3 School tutorial website, I like to talk about our, project feature. The project feature, the main feature we need to do, identify the roles. Yeah, so I talked about that before. Last time, we have three columns with primary keys, right? With primary keys. And we have two columns without primary key. Here, I plan to use a unified way to, unified way. We know there are many different ways to identify. Yeah, I believe, different people, based on their background, based on their understanding of the project, they may, using their creativity, they may come up with some special ways. Yeah, here I use my way. Okay, yeah. So it's not unique. Yeah. So everyone, so you can try your own way. Okay. Yeah. Here, the unified way. It means for all these 5 columns, I pretty much use the same way. Yeah, unified. Okay. But at the back end, I may modify slightly. Okay. Yeah. Because these two different categories, we have to treat them differently, right? Yeah. Fortunately, for the without primary key case, we can find some composite keys. Yeah, those two, the rows of the rows in those two tables. Oh, sorry, not columns. Did you notice there's some mistakes here? They're not columns, tables, right? They're not columns. 3 tables, because we can only talk about primary keys in tables, right? Yeah, yeah, not columns. All right, yeah. Fortunately, each of the 2 tables without primary keys, we can find composite keys. That's good enough to help us identify those rows. Yeah, yeah. So If we cannot find composite keys, then it will be much harder. So we have to, try to use different ways. But in this special situation, we are lucky. Yeah. So we can find composite keys. Yeah. What are the composite keys? A tuple with the first two columns. If we consider a tuple containing the first two columns, that tuple can be used as a composite key for the second category, two tables. That's simple. That's the observation. So we find this property. Okay. Yeah. So with that property, then my unified way is pretty straightforward. My unified way. Okay. For each table, no matter which one, yeah, for any of the 5 tables, yeah, because when I look at any one of the 5 tables, I just take the values of the first 2 columns. How about that? I'll take the values of the first 2 columns. Okay. Then I can use these 2 values to identify a row in the table. Okay. Yeah. With the primary key, the first column of those 3 tables, the first one corresponds to the primary key. So we do not need to use the second column value for the primary key case. But for the, non-primary key case, we need to use both column values, first and the second together, to identify each row. Okay. Yeah. So with this kind of understanding, yeah, so we have one way to, identify the rows and implement the features. So that's my plan. Okay. Yeah. So based on this understanding, so we implement this feature. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, I believe other people, you have different ways to implement. And that's normal. Different people, you have different understanding of the project. So you will have different implementation methods. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is the plan. So here I tell you the main idea here. When I complete my code, I upload. After you download and play around, I hope you can understand my code better. Yeah. So I give you the main idea so you can understand my code better. Okay. All right. Yeah. Then I like to move to the W3 schools to show you a few pieces and the basic parts of this AJAX technology. Yeah. Here you can see I control my cough much better, right? So we can, do the whole class easily. Yeah. All right. So W3, yeah, I need to go to that page. Yeah. Stop sharing first. And yeah, page part. And share again. All right. Yeah. So this is the W3 schools. Okay. Yeah. So this is the, yeah, let me see. Yeah. I mean, here, JavaScript tutorial tab. So learn AJAX. Okay, this page, yeah, introduction. Okay, yeah. Here, yeah, let me just jump to the place I like to show you immediately. All right, the function. Yeah. First, the special object I mentioned before is this one. Look at this line. Okay, yeah. New XML HTTP request. This the constructor, right? We need to get a object instance, the constructor. Yeah. So this XHTTP reference for this special communication object. All right. After that, yeah, look at this line. Oh, XHTTP.open get a method. If you like to use post method, you can use post method. Yeah, but yeah. Then our server side processing file names. In our case, we use PHP file. Okay, yeah, we will use PHP file to do the processing. Yeah, and all right, then send. Then callback function. Yeah, this part. The unload equals anonymous function. Yeah, this callback function, there is no name for it. So it is an anonymous function, right? Yeah. Inside anonymous function, we provide a definition, some special statements, JavaScript statements, to do some data manipulation. Yeah. The returned text content, this dot response text, yeah, this special expression, it contains the returned data. Yeah, whatever it is, it contains the returned data. Okay. Yeah. Here, in our case, when I click the edit button, then my edit button connects to an AJAX function. So I call the server side, I pass a primary key. Yeah, if there is a primary key, I pass the primary key. If no primary key, then I pass the composite key values. Okay, composite key values to the backend. So at the backend, from primary key or composite key values, we can retrieve the data of the whole row. Because for editing, we need to display the old data before editing, right? So retrieve and send that data back. When we receive that returned data in this callback function, we display in that row, in the row that the user click the edit button, we display there. In editable fields. Yeah. So each data piece is displayed in an editable input field. So the user can change its values. Okay. Yeah. For all the columns. Yeah. Then update. After that, update. So we send the data back using another AJAX function. Yeah, because when we do update, we use another AJAX function to send the new data back to the let's say another PHP file. Yeah. When we do that, actually one little thing we need to really be careful. So that is because we modify the values, right? But the old values, before we make the change, we need to keep the old values, because we need to use old values to identify that row. Yeah. So think think about that details. Yeah. Then after we complete the whole update action, then we can forget about all the values. All the values are gone. Yeah. But it must be after we complete update action, then all the values never need to be used anymore. Yeah. So that is the whole updating, editing, updating procedure. Okay. Yeah. So after that, later when you need to delete rows, much simpler, right? Delete rows because you only need to identify selected row once. Yeah. So then you do the deletion. When you do the deletion, yeah, but there is another thing. After you do the deletion, you need to display the page again, right? Think about that. You need to display the page again. The question, yeah, here. Yeah, actually for deletion, when you display the page, it's better to reload the page. When you reload the page, then the page is updated. Okay, yeah. For the deletion case. For the editing case, we do not need to reload the whole page. But for the deletion case, yes, actually for the deletion case, there is, probably, yeah, because when we need to display the result after deletion, if we use AJAX callback function, so that may not be good. Yeah. So that may not be good. Yeah. So it's better we reload the page. If we reload the page, think about that. If we reload the page, we do not need to use AJAX, right? If we reload the page, we just use a JavaScript function call for the delete case. Okay, yep. So that will be easier. That means in our implementation, that will be easier than the AJAX way. All right, yep. Yeah. I don't know if you understand that part or not. Yeah, if you feel hard to understand, probably I need to do that part for you. So then you can compare two ways. AJAX way for editing and non-AJAX way for deletion. Okay, yeah. So you do comparison. So you see on the what situation we should use AJAX. On the what situation we will be better off not using AJAX. Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah. So I will treat our project part, important learning block for you. Yeah, because you need this knowledge, this part of the programming experience a lot. Yeah. So I like to give you plenty of programming experience in this class. So, and it's near the end of the semester. I do not like to give you too much work. So I just like you, using my examples, learning. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that is the project part. Yeah. So let's move to the query part. Yeah. Because we need to prepare for final 5 questions, right? Yeah, we will have 5 query questions in the final. So I need to prepare that part. Yeah. All right. So more complex queries. Yeah. What's wrong with it? I try to, yeah. All right, yeah. See, yeah. In this part, I will give you a lot of examples. Yeah. But remember, in those 5 query questions, okay, 3 similar to those in homework question number 3, and 2 new and harder. Yeah. And today I will give you the type of questions for these 2. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I will tell you what type of query questions I plan to use for these 2 questions, 2 query questions. Yeah. All right. Exists function in SQL. Yeah. I noticed some students already use, yeah, but here I need to explain this function exists. Yeah. From its name, you can guess the meaning. Yeah. You know, a query statement, yeah, select query statement. Yeah. When we specify certain conditions, the query result exists, not empty, right? Yeah. If it's empty, it does not exist. If the query result is non-empty, then this exists function returns true. If it's empty, it returns false. That's simple. All right. Yeah. So you can see this function pretty straightforward, but very useful, very powerful, very useful. Yeah. So that's the topic for those 2 queries. Exist function, using exist functions. Okay. All right. Check whether the result of a correlated nested query, inner query is empty, yeah, contains no tuples or not. Yeah. We know we have many different ways to write different queries. This exists way, just one of the possible ways we can use. Yeah. But it is very powerful. So in some situations, if we use this exists function, you know, we can do more efficient. Yeah. So we can write our query statement better. Yeah. So this option is important. Yeah. We need this option. Yeah. All right. 2, if the nested query result contains at least 1 tuple. Yeah. Number of tuples in this query statement, return result, query result, it's not important. Okay. 2, 3, more than 1. Yeah. This function returns true. Okay. Yeah. But just nothing or something. Nothing or something, that difference. Okay. All right. False if the nested query result contains no tuples. Okay. Yeah. So the logic is very simple. Yeah. But we need to adjust our understanding, our thinking a little bit. So when we use this function. Yeah. All right. Another one, not exist function. Yeah, just the opposite. Right? So here you can see just the opposite. Yeah. Sometimes we need to switch our thinking in the opposite way because our focus is on the other side of the case. Yeah. So you can see this time if we use not exist function, then if it is empty, if the query, inner query inner query result is empty, then it's true. Yeah. Otherwise, not empty, it's false. Okay, yeah. Here. That's the topic we will have in our last two questions of the final. Last two questions. Okay. Last two, one for exists function, one for not exists function. Okay. Yeah. So, and because I like you to practice these two functions. So in my instructions, I will put a description. You need to use exists function to write a query statement. Okay. Yeah. Although you can, if I do not say that, if I do not say using exists function, not exists function, some students, they may like to use the different ways to implement. Yeah. But here I like you to practice these two functions. All right. Exists and not exists are typically used in conjunction with a correlated nested query. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let us see some examples. The first one, using exists function. Yeah. Compare. Yeah. Here, compare, that means the first version we did before, and we didn't use exists function. Yeah. So this question, yeah, dependent, right? Yeah, dependent name. The sex of the dependent, the same as the sex of the employee. Yeah, that statement, the example. Yeah. Now, if we use the exists function, yeah, so we try to practice exists function here. Yeah, so pretty straightforward. Inner query. Let's look at how do we write inner query. Okay, in the inner query, we consider dependent. Yeah, but when we consider the dependent, we fix the employee. Yeah, e.ssm comes from outer query, but we fix it. Yeah, we fix it. All right, so table join. Yeah, same name, another condition. First name of the employee is the same as the dependent name. Yeah, another extra condition, and the same sex. Okay. All right. So this inner statement, we check if it's empty or not. If it's not empty, we display that employee's name. That simple. Yeah. So pretty straightforward. Okay. Inner query, yeah, we want to see there is a non-empty return result. Yeah. So you can see quite natural. So using this exists function, it is quite natural. Okay. Yeah. All right. It seems non-necessary here, but so the meaning is here, some people may ask question, why we need to use this exists type expression, right? We can use the not, the first way, because the first way we feel simpler, right? Yeah. But here, for this particular example, yeah, the first one probably simpler than the second one. Now, that's true, yeah. But later you will see in some usually relatively hard cases, then the exists way will be very useful. If you have this option, yeah, sometimes you need it. Yeah, it will be very useful. Yeah. But for multiple requirements specified by select statement, it is useful. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Sometimes we need to represent inner queries, inter queries with multiple requirements. Yeah. So we can use this way. Yeah. All right. Not exists function. Look at the question. Retrieve the names of the employees who have no dependents. That's a simple question. So we can write a statement without using this function easily. Yeah. Who have no dependents. Count function. Remember, we can use count function, right? We count the number of dependents equals 0. Yeah. So usually, yeah, people can do it in that way, the count way. Okay. Yeah. All right. So here, as a practice, so we use not exists function. Yeah. Inner query select star from dependent where SSN equals ESSN. Yeah. We look at this query result. Although you can count, but here we only want to separate the two cases, empty, non-empty, right? Yeah. And if it's empty, then we select that employee. So we use this not exists function. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. So another way. Yeah. But you can see for this kind of questions, if we want to get a control on the number of dependents, then you cannot use this function, exists function, because exists function you can never control the number of dependents, only 0 or non-zero, these two cases. You cannot get any information about 1, 2, 3, non-zero, but you need to know the numbers. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see it has limitation. Yeah. Retrieve the name of each employee who works on all projects controlled by department number 5. Yeah. This question, yeah, here, I put this question here. This question is the hardest of this class. This question is hardest for this class. You can see this statement is not that long, but it's quite confusing. Yeah. Retrieve. The first thing, can we understand the meaning of the statement correctly? Right? That may not be easy. Retrieve the name of each employee. Yeah, that part is easy, but condition part is hard. Who works on all the projects controlled by department number 5. Think about this condition. What's the meaning of this condition? Okay, one employee. We know one employee can work on multiple projects, right? Yeah, a list of projects. So we can list that. Yeah. For each employee, we can list all the projects worked by this employee. All right. Now, if we have that one list of projects, we want to make sure all the projects are controlled by department 5. That's the second part of the condition. Okay, this whole list of projects are controlled by department 5. Question, how to represent that part? Okay, controlled by department 5. How to represent that part? Yeah. So this is the hardest question of this class. Okay, yeah. So let's see the solution. Yeah, we can write different ways solution. Yeah. All right. Look at this way. This way, after you see it, understanding, yeah, we need to try very hard to understand the statement. Yeah. Outer query, pretty simple. Yeah. The hard part is the inner query, not exists. Look at this meaning. Inside this not exists function, we have a inner query statement. That one, and we use this operator, this set operator, except. Yeah. So we know the meaning of except, right? Yeah. Look at the A set, and the B set. Okay, yeah, B set. Except if we write A except B, yeah, that's this part. Yeah. In A set, yeah, it must be in A set, we remove the part that belongs to B set. Okay. Yeah. So that's the meaning. All right. So now A and B, yeah, two parentheses, yeah. A part and the B part. Yeah. So what is A part? A part, all the project numbers controlled by Department 5. That's the A part. All the project numbers, list of project numbers controlled by Department 5. That's the A set. All right. Then B set, all the project numbers worked by the current employee. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because our outer query, we select current employee. This current employee, its SSN is known. Okay, SSN is given, so we fix it. After we fix its XSN, then we look at the works on table, because this table can give us all the project information for individual employees. Yeah. Then, because SSN is given, so we can find all the projects worked by the current employee. That's the B set. All right. Now, A except B. A, all the projects controlled by Department 5, then we remove those that belong to this particular employee. The result is empty. Not exists, that means empty, right? Yeah. Then you can see that's describe the condition in the given statement. Who works on all the projects controlled by Department 5? How about that? Is that tricky? Yeah. Pretty tricky. Pretty tricky. It's because this kind of thinking looks not quite natural, right? If you do not have a lot of experience, this kind of thinking is pretty hard. You need a lot of experience to get used to this kind of thinking. Think about that. So that's why, this is the hardest query statement of this class. Yeah. Try your best to understand the logic. Okay. A set. Yeah. The project numbers controlled by Department 5. That's the A set. Okay. Yeah. And other, yeah, because for one selected employee, all the projects he or she is working on must be all belong to Department 5. Okay. Yeah. There is no one in Department 3. Okay. Yeah. All in Department 5. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Using the negation approach. Yeah. Here you can see now we use that kind of negation thinking. Okay, negation thinking not exists. When we use this not exists function, we, so here you can see we make a lot of effort, try to make the query result empty. We try to make the query result empty. So then we use not exists to check if it is empty. Okay, yeah. So that's the hard part. This kind of thinking is relatively hard. Yeah. All right. Using the negation approach. Yeah. Find the tuples that satisfy some requirement. Right? Find those tuples such that, so here, the first sentence is the goal. Yeah. Is our goal. Yeah. We want to find tuples that satisfy some requirement. In order to achieve this goal, we use the negation approach. We do not do it directly, although, so you can use the direct way. Yeah. But here I just talk about how this negation approach, how it works. Yeah. So when you want to use this negation approach, you need to change your thinking way. Yeah. All right. So the second sentence tells us how to make that change. Yeah. Find those tuples such that for each tuple, the result that the requirement is not satisfied is empty. It looks like double negation, right? Yeah, double negation. You do negation, it's empty. Okay, so it sounds like a double negation. Okay, yeah. So for those tuples, so you describe those tuples such that for each tuple, the result that the requirement is not satisfied, okay, is empty. Yeah. So then, double negation, so the requirement should be satisfied. Okay, yeah, that way, yeah. All right. So yeah, look at the same question again. Yeah. Retrieve the name of each employee who works on all project controlled by Department 5. Yeah. Our requirement, we want to find tuples that satisfy, this requirement. Okay, yeah. But how do we get there? Yeah. All right, so we want to see, yeah, we want to represent not satisfied, right? Yeah, not satisfied. So what do you mean here? Not satisfied. Yeah. All right. So for a given employee, we want to see the project number worked by this employee. That's not in Department 5. So that part is empty. How about that? Not in Department 5. So that part is empty. Yeah. So interpretation, those projects controlled by Department 5, but not worked by current employee, form an empty set. So worked by Department 5, but not worked by current employee. Oh, is this interpretation? Yeah, that's something. Quite confusing, right? Quite confusing. Yeah, I feel there is some. Yeah, so that's why I say this is the hardest one to understand the statement correctly. Yeah. Let me give you some time. So each of you, so you try to understand the statement. Yeah. So so for everyone, you try to understand the meaning of this statement. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because this is our last effort of this class. In the final, I try to give you one similar question. So one similar question. So we need to understand this statement well. Okay. Yeah. From different angles. So we try our best to understand really well. Yeah. So then when you write a similar statement, you will feel comfortable. Yeah. But here, because I feel from my own understanding, I feel a little confusing. Yeah. Because which way? Yeah, this interpretation, I feel not that straightforward. Yeah. This interpretation actually basically explains our previous statement solution. Pretty much explains that. But if I try to understand the meaning directly, so I feel something not quite right. So I need to really digest a little more. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let me leave. Yeah, because we need some time to study the meaning of this query statement. We need some time. Yeah. So let us spend some time understanding this question. And next time, so let's try another round understanding this statement better. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let me stop right here. The good thing is, I do not need to do a different recording, so we can complete the class today at this time. Yeah. So that's the best thing we want to have. Yeah. All right. So let me stop here.